YouTube so I could put it at 1.5 speed. Do you think that's a good indication of how good this film is?
I would say it is. I'm really jealous that I didn't think of doing the exact same thing, and I did watch it at full length speed.
I can tell you right now, whatever you have to say, this is a very tight 73 minutes. This is a good film.
My name is Carl.
My name is Oscar, and this is
Who Would Watch This? Who'd watch it?
Watch
Who
this?
would watch it?
Who'd fucking watch it, right?
If this was a com doubler of a film, who would be the most?
Who bloody?
Who'd it be for? What an opener!
All right. Welcome to Who Would Watch This. This is the podcast where we watch a film, chat about the film, and then try and figure out who would fucking watch this. Sorry, no swearing.
Today,
editing that out. We're for kids, Carl. Don't even speak over me. We're cut
for kids.
For...
Well, under family, people forget that it's Bluey, and then who would watch this? That's what parents like for their kids.
Kids like the sophisticated. Kids love just two men talking about films they haven't seen. They really, you wouldn't believe how engaged they are.
Look, Oscar, new month, new us. It's remake month, and we're kicking it off with one of the worst remakes there is. Point Break, which currently has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 11%, an IMDb rating of 5.3, and a Letterboxd rating of 2.2. Oscar, what's the plot of this one?
A young FBI agent infiltrates an extraordinary team of extreme sports athletes he suspects of masterminding a string of unprecedented, sophisticated corporate heists.
Sounds like a film.
That sounds like a 2-hour film that could be fast-forwarded and you wouldn't miss anything. Who'd have thought that, huh?
Oh, terrific. Let's go back in time to before we'd seen the film and tried to figure out who we thought would watch it.
Carl, we are watching Point Break next week. Thoughts on it? Haven't seen the first, haven't seen this. Oh, no, we have. We saw the start. You showed me the start drunkenly after we were recording
one
of these episodes last year.
Yeah.
And you said, we should watch this. We put it on, and I went, yes, we should watch this.
Yeah,
and now we're watching
Isn't the opening of the... I don't know that's all you've seen, but that's just like, what an incredible opener.
It hooks you. It hooks you.
You know immediately this movie's not worth your time, but you should sit down and watch it. I'll be honest, I saw this one in a cinema opening weekend.
That's fucked up, Carl.
Yep.
Not a fan of that. From the opening scene alone.
Yeah.
You made a poor choice.
I hated it then, and I'm going to assume I hate it now. I never thought I'd have to rewatch it. It's 6 years later, and I feel like it went in one ear and out the other, but I just remember latching on to that opening sequence. Latching onto it. I do remember that a lot of the audience that like opening like Friday night or whatever, everybody was like, oh no. That was just such an energy as everybody was like, wait, do we laugh at this? What is this? It was a collective confusion I really miss that COVID took away from me.
Honestly, yeah, I need to know how I'm feeling judging on people in the cinema. If there's an old lady laughing, I'm into it. Other than that, I'm out.
You ever seen the movie Philomena? Hilarious. Steve Coogan, Judi Dench, they have fun.
Oh, the Marigold Hotel. You can't... That's a fucking slapper.
Oh, the second best one? Now that's a film.
This film, I don't think anybody has revisited. So I think this was
I don't know a single person
off the
watched
original.
it, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
it was. I think it cost a lot of money, and I'm pretty sure it bombed. So
$105 million made 133.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good.
That's not good.
Carl, who do you think would watch Point Break the remake other than fans of Point Break the first?
Yeah,
one?
look, if I recall, this is like way more into extreme sports, and it's can only be for that crowd. Like, there's way more extreme sports in the film than there is action, so it's just got to be for people that want to see big screen extreme sports, and or the grandmother in Hoodwinked. I'm pretty sure she really liked extreme sports.
Oh yeah, I think if you're going for, granny pockets, you're trying to get that market. I think off your comment alone, I think if you really want to get into XXX, but you hate Vin Diesel with burning passion maybe the protagonist of Point Break. Let me Google who he is. Oh no. Utah and Bodhi. Oh no. Okay, if you hate Vin Diesel and you love Utah and Brody, this is for you. Oh, that's nobody.
It's basically like, look, if you want your protagonist to have a really fucking thick coat of hair for the film, Point Break's the one to watch. If I recall, this guy's hair's off the charts. It's constantly in his face the entire film.
You just don't get that with Triple X. His hair is soft and smooth and nowhere to be seen. Carl, this movie is extreme. It's so cool the whole way through. I haven't got a clue what's going on.
I've never seen a greener looking film. What the fuck is this saturation? What is this filter? What is this filter they've chucked over the entire... The movie begins in a desert. It's fucking green and luscious like a forest. What's the point? Can you imagine? They've spent $105 million to then go, chuck a filter over
Make it green like money. That's how rich it is. It's the color of money, Carl.
Stupid. It makes everybody look fucking orange too. I hate the visual choice of this movie. Hated it, hated it, hated it, hated it. Now, having said that... The
visual choice... Oh, go on.
Now, having said that, let's get into one of the best openings of all time.
How do you set up the sequel that hasn't had anything for 20 years? You do this. You fucking nail it.
Here's the thing. Here's what you do. Two unknown white leads on motorbikes. Where are they? I don't know. A desert? It's rocky. One of them's like, man, I think you're gonna die like this.
That's the only line of dialogue. It's like they were asking for it. Just like, man, I don't know about you, but if there's any time to die, it's fucking in the next 5 minutes. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. And the other guy's like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna die. And then they start motorbiking. And you're like, cool, I'm sure they'll motorbike for like 4 or 5 shots. No. 3 minutes. Like 3 full minutes of motorbiking. And you're like, what, the credits supposed to come up during this There's so much motorbiking for so long. And you're like, where's this scene going? And they get to a ramp of rock. An actual ramp made of rock. Naturally, the guy goes over it onto its own little island of rock wherever they are. A helicopter's been filming them the whole time. What a reveal. Then the guy who's on the other island, he gets off of his motorbike, stands where the other motorbike is supposed to land. The other motorbike jumps over, misses him, skirts off, and hangs off the side of the cliff. What happens then, Oscar?
The man calls out, "No, Jeff, no." Jeff falls to his death. We get his name and immediately lose Jeff.
Oh my god,
I'm hooked.
The fact that he's like, Jeff, accelerate, Jeff. Jeff, what are you doing? That's backwards. What are you doing? No, Jeff.
Oh god, I'm so glad they don't establish his name is Jeff, because just the idea of such a buffoonish name, such a silly name, and no offense to all the Jeff fans out there, but if your name is Jeff and you're hanging over a cliff, it's comical that you die. It's very funny.
Imagine the pitch, you're pitching to the producers for funding, and you're like, Jeff dies. Boom. Point Break. And they're like, $105 million for you, good sir. Like,
what? They had $100 million and they called him Jeff. They're like, here's an extra 5. That joke landed.
Imagine having $105 million and you don't even bother to look up at just a fucking book of names. Just a book of baby boys. Just something.
Well, I don't get it, because they're brothers. What insane mother has called one boy Jeff and one boy Utah? There's no way that's a good parent. That's a terrible parent.
She was really hinging her bets on Jeff dying. That's what I think it is.
I had this really nice, cool, boring state vibe, and then Jeff came along, and we were really hoping he perished in some sort of cliff accident.
She was like, I wanted to call one Utah and one Iowa, And she was like, but when that fucking boy was born, I was like, you can't be called Iowa. You're a bloody Jeff, aren't you? You're a goddamn Jeff. Oh, look, I don't know what there is to say after this scene. I think it's a masterpiece. If you turn the film off now, you've only made money. That's what it feels like.
That I tell you what, if they spent $105 million on this scene, money well spent.
I would have loved the confidence of a director to be like, we filmed a full 90-minute film for $105 million. I personally don't like what I've shot, but I love the first 4 minutes of my movie, and that's what we'll release in cinemas. So as soon as Jeff dies, it cuts to directed by McG or something like that. You're like, yes, give it to me.
The cinema's like, you guys can watch that 20 times. That's the bonus of not showing you a 90-minute film. We can just show this 4-minute clip.
I love it. Think about if you were to have to sit there and watch this clip 20 times, how attached you'd become to Jeff. I reckon on the 20th clip, a single tear would roll down my eye, and I'd give a round of applause.
That's the thing, it's an emotional roller coaster. First you're laughing, then you get attached, and you're back on Jeff's side. And then after that, you're back at laughing. It's comedy gold.
I think the real disappointment of the entire film is learning you're not going to, even though you do see him die on screen, is that you don't get to spend the rest of the movie with Jeff. You get stuck with Utah.
And we're stuck with Utah, aren't we? Okay, so Utah, flashes...
I will also really quickly say that the movie also begins with a bit of a gripe from me, and it continues to happen through the film, is I want to see these people splat. So many people die from falling, you never see them splat. I want splat.
Yeah, I do want some sort of we'll get into what this kind of vibe is of the film, violence-wise. But anyway, so we're introduced to Utah. It's been a couple of years. You tell me if I'm right. He's a high school dropout.
Yep.
Who's an idiot. And for 6 years, all he did was extreme sports. Wasn't very good at them. He was just insane. Essentially jackass level doing shit. Then he was like, you know what? I want to be part of the FBI. I'm going to go to school, college, the top Harvard school, and now I'm interviewing for the FBI. Is that what his backstory is?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And he's not interesting. That's crazy.
It's so true. They've really just... It's crazy that there's so much extreme sports out there, and this is clearly written by a guy that's never met a guy that does extreme sports. It's the dullest man ever committed to screen. So Jeff's in the middle of this interview for the FBI. It turns out there are these bank robbers that are going around the world, and they're doing things like stealing diamonds and giving them to the poor. The fuck are they gonna do with diamonds? What a stupid monetary thing to deliver to them. Not only that, who's filming this? Who was down there to film all the diamonds raining on them?
I assume most of the footage is filmed by Red Bull. I just feel like this was a Red Bull tournament. Okay, so they're the three criminals. They've done this stunt, and then immediately after they've gone, you know what they also did? They hijacked an American plane, dropped all this money over the slums of Mexico.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do with those American dollars? It's such a poor, out-of-the-way town that they also cut it too high. All of that money could have just gone to a different town.
Oh yeah, probably to the Monopoly City money.
It
just
goes to Mr. Pennyworth. He's like, yum, 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 yum. I'm going to be passing go for days. Yum, 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 yum.
I like his backyard's the size of Mexico due to his enormous wealth. And the rich only get richer. This rich fuck has just landed with a bunch of US
currency. First you get
currency.
Mayfair, then you get Mexico, then you get...
Then you get Texas, which I assume he's bought the entirety of.
Oh, absolutely.
And now all the money's him.
So because the Utah is the only person in the FBI that happens to be into extreme sports, he's worked out a connection. And that's that these people that are robbing banks are also doing something like the Special 8 or something like that. Which achieves full enlightenment. And he says that some people will train their entire lives to try and just do one of the 8 things and still not succeed. and somebody as boring and untalented as Utah's going to be able to do 5 of them across the movie.
Carl, I don't think I grasped how important the Oracle 8 would be in this film. This is like, what is this? It's like a religious experience. It's the religion of like just some guys.
I know. It's the most like once you meet like Brody, you're like, fuck, I absolutely hate all of you. You're all such like spiritual dickheads. Like you're just so unappealing to spend a movie with. I haven't seen the original Point Break in a long time, but I remember really, really loving Keanu Reeves and Swayze in that movie, and like the connection like the chemistry they had as actors, the writing that they had to really bond over the movie, and it still handles things to do with like spirituality and purpose and blah 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 blah, but it handles it so much better. Like this, like in the original one, they're just chasing like surfers that are robbing at the same time to like fund them doing their big surf to get to their big wave at the end of it. But for some reason, this movie has these bank robbers who are doing extreme sports, robbing banks, but they're not robbing banks to bankroll their extreme sports. They've got someone over here paying for them to do the extreme sports. So what's the point in robbing?
I don't know. The robbing doesn't even come into it. So I thought like the first 2 is them. I assume I don't know what the 8 are. I don't know why 3 of them include robbing banks and the other 5 don't. I don't really know
why don't they rob 8 banks?
That's what I thought. I thought 8 would be like doing extreme sport and give to the rich, give the poor to the rich. You know, something like that. But the first 2 are giving from the rich to the poor. And then most others are just extreme sports. I don't know how it achieve enlightenment. I don't know how you could base any religion on that. And I even think the person that found this religion is disgusted in the way they're doing it.
It's like Brody through the entire movie's like, I'm enlightened. I want to give back to the world. I'll kill someone in a heartbeat. I'll take a life if I have to. Like.
I believe the Dalai Lama also capped a bitch when, they ever considered that they weren't enlightened.
Anytime somebody dies, he immediately goes up to someone and is like, no, that was their fault they're dead. You've done nothing wrong, and neither have I. Like,
oh god, we're fast forwarding because that's my fucking favorite line in the whole thing. But oh my god.
All right, so here's what happens. So Utah's got his idea. They're gonna go for it. For some reason, he has to pitch it to the board of the FBI, and he pitches it to them with a movie of him competing in extreme sports behind himself.
Such a dick swing, isn't it? Just as me catching a fucking gnarly wave. Check it out. Anyway, I'm gonna fucking save the world. Like, wow, we have way too many resources.
How funny would it be if then that video of his brother dying was just up there and he had to turn around and like PTSD's him? It's like, oh no! Oh, not Jeff!
Jeff! Oh.
Jeff, no, please! Accelerate! Oh!
Someone's laughing in the background of the FBI, like, Jeff. Okay.
Yeah, somebody at the back's like, Jeff fucking sucks. Like,
someone makes a "my name's Jeff" joke. The FBI cracks up. Real quickly though, just so you guys can get like an idea of how this movie looks. Have you ever been to like a surf shop or a skateboard shop? Because it's whatever, there's like a bunch of TVs in those stores, and they're just kind of playing stock footage of people skateboarding, surfing, skydiving. That's the film. I can't believe they've literally just added maybe like 5 scenes of dialogue, but that's the rest of the film.
It's actually really frustrating because they seem to think that we'll be most interested in the extreme sports, and so they've flat out just kind of recorded extreme sports, and so the movie's really fucking indulgent in any of those scenes, and it probably could be like 15 minutes shorter because there's like a surfing scene of just people having fun out on the ocean, skateboarding into the ocean, and it's like all set to a song, and it just goes on and on
it plays the Black Keys, and the Black Keys aren't really like an action vibe. Anyway, that's what we get. So essentially, the FBI approve it. Immediately goes surfing. I don't know how he finds these people immediately. It seems like that'd be the issue of the film.
So the reason he's found it is because one of the things of enlightenment is like surfing that wave. And he's like, there's just been a typhoon. This is a once in a decade wave. They would definitely be here if they're doing the entire raid. And so the FBI is going, well, you're a young, hip, tattooed, fit man. Nobody's ever going to notice you. And so we're going to pair you with another undercover agent. Big old Cockney Ray Winstone. That's who we're going to get. We're going to...
He blends into the waves and the curls. This bald man who could strangle a cat and no one would notice.
Let's get you a partner 3 times your age. They'll never notice.
I think he blends in more than this man, because constantly he pretty much walks up to people and go, hey, you like extreme sports? Huh? Is that your jive, kid? That he immediately, what's it called? Utah, can't believe that's his name, just immediately goes, I want to ride that wave. They're like, sure, why not? He disses our protagonist and also antagonist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bodie?
Yeah. Because anytime I've surfed, there are rules. There are rules to the wave, Oscar. There's like it's almost like a queue. You can't cut people off. You can't jump onto it too early. He's not obeying the rules. It's also wild that Ray Winston's like, you ever really surfed before? And Utah's like, I don't know, once. And it just goes up to like the biggest fucking wave, like
essentially a killer wave. There's many issues. Sure, he was like in his youth an extreme sport person. The way they've described these 8 tasks, it seems like it would take a lifetime. There's a rock climbing scene, which I'm pretty sure that guy from Free Solo couldn't do, and he spent his life dedicated to that. I don't think he shouldn't be able to do these sports. He should have been died. He should have died.
Yeah, you think it would take a lot of time to be able to do all of these sports, but 1, everybody's achieving it when they're like under middle-aged.
Like late 20s.
Yeah. And 2, it turns out they've done this over like 12 days. Like
their bodies must be broken.
There's no recovery time.
They're pretty much riding on pure adrenaline. They don't eat. They're just pure adrenaline.
Have an ice bath or something. Do something.
Okay. Essentially, Utah and Bodie both fight for the big wave. They both crash.
This has happened.
Utah almost.
This has happened to me before, by the way.
Really, while surfing, and you had a point break moment.
I saved him, and then he infiltrated our group.
Oh, Is that Jeff?
It's Jeff.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
He couldn't accelerate, nor could he close the deal with my sister.
So. Anyway, so they get saved. They're back on the boat. They keep spouting this shit about you don't respect the waves.
I hate this.
I hate this. This mantra, this whatever this religion is, it's upsetting.
I'm gonna say it for what it's a fucking cult. It's a cult.
It's a cult, but it's not even a good cult. Like, no one would fall for this cult. It's just surfing. Like, it's no way you can get enlightened.
It's like 4 notches down from Jonestown. That's how shit this cult is.
They wouldn't even make, like, a podcast on it. It's that low. It's that pathetic. Who would fall for that? Oh, God.
What annoys me is everybody knows who Utah is.
He's got a reputation. He's the cool... You know what's funny? He says he's the skater. He's, like, famous for skating. Not once does he skate. Why even bother?
Why never skates. In fact, we've only seen him bike. We've only seen him bike so far.
But he doesn't bike anymore.
And that got a man killed. Got a man killed.
That's why he doesn't bike anymore.
I don't understand how, because in the original, it's just like, I'm pretty sure Keanu Reeves is just like, he's like the best at extreme sports of like the FBI sort of thing, and that's why he's brought into it. But this is a YouTuber wouldn't everybody know if a famous YouTuber stopped YouTubing and just went to become an FBI agent over the course of 6 years? Wouldn't everyone know he's an FBI agent very easily?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like people would just Google him. He'd probably pop out at uni. They'd be like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm studying being an FBI." It would just kind of get around. I feel like you can look up any YouTuber now and kind of roughly know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So the fact that he's undercover, like, crazy.
I would love it if he still YouTubes. He's like, "Hey, my daily vlog. I'm an FBI agent. We're trying to chase the 8 with these guys. I'm going to infiltrate their group. Let's see what happens."
Anyway, shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. You know, you guys will be able to keep me doing these videos. I love doing them. If you guys need to build a website, make sure you guys use Squarespace. My code is Utah/Jeff fucking died.
He's
Rip
like,
Jeff,
"Hey,
Rip Jeff.
I've got some." He's like, "I know this is a 30-minute video and it's filled with ads, but I just have to explain to you that me and Brody have broken up. Things have been a bit of a falling out. I don't want our fans to take it out on one another. It's a mutual breakup between me and Brody. Look, it is what it is. I know when this happened with David and Isla, it really took like a big rift.
It rocked the world. But hey, listen, I just want to show it's mutual. It's fine. It's cool.
It's mutual. He is dead. But
okay. So we get introduced to the Rat Pack. I'm not learning their names. They all look the same, and I'm pretty sure they're the same character. They immediately go.
You can't distinguish them.
No.
Can't fucking distinguish. Anytime one of them died, I was like, no idea which one that was.
Anyway, Ray's like on the boat is like, we gotta go, and they teleport to like a dodgy part of London. They're like, you gotta go to that fight club down there. Walks down, the boys are down there. No clue why did they discuss this on the boat. Do you know what this scene is?
This threw me because Brody was like, "Oh, I invited him." Did he?
I don't know. The dialogues, it's surfer like dialogue, so I got no clue. We're very pale. I don't know. I don't go to the beach.
Shackers. Shackers.
That's all I hear. That's all I hear.
Shackers.
Oh, you fucking Gromit, you know. It's just like no clue what's going on there. Carl, if you can explain the scene to me, from what I can understand is Utah rocks up to a fight club in like an old train place. Brody beats the shit out of him, and then they're like, "You don't respect the wave."
There's also randomly just a fucking car on fire. Just fully ablaze at the entry point. Just like one of those things where like, oh, this is a secret underground fight club. There is a full car on fire. It's so easy for anybody to see. Like any like police.
It's a flare. It's essentially anybody in any situation would call the police. There's a car on fire. It's a beacon for anyone that wants anyway.
I love it. He's like, "Hey, how will I find the fight club?" And he's like, "So get to the car on fire. You want to take a right? You'll meet my mate Gary. Gary's going to walk you down the stairs."
Yeah. That's okay. So anyway, they fight. Utah gets beaten up. They go upstairs, share a cigarette, and Brody's like, "You're all right. You're in." I don't get what this was. And one of the unnamed henchmen's like, "I don't trust you, but Brody does. Let's go to Iceland." They're in Iceland.
I loved that henchman because when they were on the boat and already was like, "I fucking don't trust Utah," some guy came up to him with a blunt and was like, "Just have this," and he threw it over the way, and it lingers on the guy who gave it to him, and he's so sad. He's so sad.
He was like, "I traded my fucking surfboard for a fucking joint, and you." You're just trying to impress everybody, and it. Oh, God, you were so much better on dry land, you prick.
I'd love it if this guy's got a type of Tourette's that causes anything to be handed to him thrown over his shoulder. Just anything. They're just like, "Quick, take this gun," and he's like, "Oh, take this surfboard." Oh,
guns pop up in this film, but I can't stress it. There hasn't been a gun for the whole film, and then when a film
Oh, it's weird.
just shows it with a gun, you're like, whoa, that's it. It's like, that's a gun.
Isn't it wild? I've written it down. We're not there yet, but it's like it takes until an hour and 8 minutes into the movie for there to be a proper action sequence. Up until the first hour and 8 minutes is all extreme sports.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it. Look, they're in the Iceland countryside.
Yeah.
They skydive for 7 minutes. One of
Yeah.
them puts a rock in the backpack and is like, "You got me, guys." What was that? I wasn't happy with that at all.
I was like, but you guys know that you can die at any point. Any point. You stress all the time about the fact that, yeah, we'll fucking die. It's it's like, remember how they got shitty at him for cutting him off while surfing? But this motherfucker's gonna put a rock in his backpack when they're skydiving.
Yeah, literally death. Also, I'm just gonna say right now, the filmmakers, they drop that rock in the backpack. They then count how long the fall is. They say it's 6 seconds. Sound travels. This is doesn't have to be funny. This is just factual. Sound travels at 360 meters per second. By that logic, it's about actually a 4.5 second drop. So really, they all should be dead. I'm flexing my year 10 physics there. I got nothing out of it. I'm glad I get to use it right now.
Oscar's also been gifted skydiving over Christmas. Are you excited to use that?
Not after this. If someone puts a rock in my backpack, I'm fucked. I haven't got a fun quip. I'll just take it. I'll be too embarrassed to I don't want them to get the jinx on me, so I'm just gonna pretend the rock's part of the parachute. I'll plummet to my death and it'll be fine. Also, if I do plummet to my death and die, at least you now have your Jeff moment where I've said I won't die. And now
when you were skydiving, you should have accelerated. You would have been fine. We've also skipped over. There is a woman in the film. Don't worry, she's not that important.
The film makes very clear she is just an object.
Just an object. She fulfills sexual needs for Ray Winstone to take pictures of at some stage, and that is it.
I don't. That's not even like passing the Bechdel test. That's like proper I don't even know what that is. One female, and all she does is fuck.
Oh no, it's so bad. But still, I can't get over why is Ray Winstone in this film? Why is he in this?
I love it. Constantly he goes on the mission, and then like 100 meters from the thing, he just lights a cigarette. He's like, "Off you go, boy. Pop off, do it." He's a fucking freak. He's on like sabbatical at the FBI. He's just running out his time before he can retire.
Oh god, it's just like, what a wild choice. I think what's really weird, considering this movie bombs so much, I think it's really weird to remake Point Break at all.
Yeah, 'cause that feels like a flash. That feels like a just not like a loving, like a Jurassic Park, like an Independence Day. That feels like just a strange film that just lucked out and was good.
Yeah, I think it's like a movie that's like of its time in terms of why and how it was so successful. And like when it's been updated for more things, like for example, Fast and Furious is pretty much a beat for beat version of Point Break, except it's not surfing, it's racing. Like, so there are ways that you can sort of play around with it, but one of the things I find really weird is to then spend $105 million on remaking what was not a very expensive movie when it came out. It might have been like a $30 or $40 million film. But to then not have any stars? Like, Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves were big when that movie came out.
Yeah. This feels like, except for some scenes, which you kind of go, for some money there, it feels like a TV movie just to show off extreme sports.
Yeah.
It's a really weird vibe. Like, again, it's very, like, no actors you know. That's not a bad thing, but it's $105 million. I don't really know where the budget is.
Like, yeah, I bought a ticket to see Ray up there on the big screen, but not everybody wants to.
Listen, I'll be honest. Ray rakes in, on average, $70 million alone on his sex appeal. But you gotta make up for the extra 30, and I just don't know where they're getting it from.
The disappointment I had when I saw Raya and the Last Dragon, and it was not Ray Winstone, I was crushed.
It's on the poster. Why fuck me over like that, you know? Don't ever get me started on Ray. Oh, that was...
Jamie Foxx has nothing on Ray and Ray.
I thought it'd be a biopic on the time Ray Winstone wanted to play a piano for a bit. How sore I was. Right. Back to this film. This film's crazy. We've got a big skydiving parachute thing.
Yep.
6 minutes of that. Immediately we go to snowboarding.
They're also shit bank robbers. One of their first bank robbers, they don't even get off the bike. They have to stumble around on it, stealing diamonds by hand. And then they drive out of windows on the bike and parachute. Like, none of all their planning is so half-assed and confusing. Like, I wouldn't trust them to organize me to do an extreme sport.
Hear me out. Although you are right, in fairness to them, the only retaliation they've had is by sending another person like them to catch them. One person. And Ray Winstone. That's all the FBI in the world has sent to stop these guys. Of course they're getting away with shit.
Nobody else had figured it out in the entire world. It seems to be a worldwide issue.
Yeah.
Like,
these
honestly,
are the dark horsemen of this world.
Yeah. Where the fuck is the mayor of New York? Why isn't he on this?
All right, let's. They go snowboarding. Chowder dies. Chowder. The third henchman.
I hated. They're looking down at it and they're like, "Guys, I don't think this is safe." And they do shots of it, and it's just rock. There's like no snow. It's just rock.
Just jagged angles at them. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, guys.
There's only rock for them to die. However, when they jump off, complete white. Not a rock to be seen. It couldn't be safer.
It's like a 15-degree angle of white powder. The wide's just jagged, but close up so kind to them.
You got to remember they complete what they were aiming to do. But then it's actually Utah that pushes it and is like, let's do it again. And one of the guys is like, I don't want to do it again. And he's like, we're all doing it. And and then that's the guy that like dies. And when he dies, they get like the phone call and Utah's like, no, we've got to go find him. We've got to go retrieve his body. And Brody's like, there's no point. It was his line. He chose to die. And then it just cuts to them on a helicopter and they've got his body. So they went after it anyway.
Yeah, because Utah was like, that's insane. The man died. It wasn't a choice. What is this weird religion? Also, I do love it. They're on the helicopter with the dead body. Smash cut, they're at a party. Everyone's like, aha, rip Chowder. Like, I'm glad the film also knows that we don't care about Chowder.
Oh my god. It actually has some of my favorite stuff when they're remembering Chowder. She says to Utah, she's like, look, he was a very fulfilled man. Whether he was jumping out of planes or planting a tree, he was he was fulfilled. Now, having said that, when my parents died in an avalanche, I was hurt.
That's good writing. That's the thing about that. You just don't get to see that. Anyway, Utah's the only one bummed out Chowder's dead.
Yeah.
Gets over it immediately as the one woman rocks up. It's like, you wanna fuck? He's like, yeah,
she's the one that burns his body, and she's got a fucking smile on her face. It's the most culty scene of the movie. She's like, and you will burn, 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 woohoo, woohoo, burn.
It is a freaky religion, isn't it? It's so strange. I don't get what the rules are, because they've already established it. It's a cult, essentially. With no positives. It seems like you do 8 insane tasks, and you're enlightened. No one's achieved it. Not even the creator himself. has got to
Here's
it.
here's the thing. I made my own pasta the other day. I was pretty fucking enlightened by it. You don't have to risk yourself to like. I was pretty impressed. It tasted nice.
See, here's the thing. I've done 7 of these tasks, and I'm almost there. I feel a slight. I'm like 80% enlightened. One more big wave, and I think I'll make it.
Imagine only being 7/8 enlightened. Oh, you might as well have not bothered. Like,
You guys just kill yourself. Jump off a mountain. That was the second task I had to do.
It's like one of the fucking enlightenments is just climbing and then jumping off and dying. Like,
no, it's crazy. Anyway, let's smash through this.
I do love because he's basically has not checked in with the FBI for fucking ages now.
No.
So he finally checks in after 12 days. They're like, "Where have you been? Why are you doing? Why you've completely gone off the rails?"
Ray Winstone is like investigating a boat.
Yeah.
Utah did not know the water was involved. He's like, and Ray is just like, here's a picture of you fucking and doing coke. What's your plan? He's like, I think I'm close. There's these 8 things I have to do. I'm gonna do them. And Ray's like, you're off the case.
He's like, Ray, I'm so close to being enlightened. I'm so close. Don't take this away from me.
I've done 3 Molly, and I'm gonna jump off a fucking mountain, baby. I've got a bike. Let's just do it.
He's like, he's like, remember when I told you about Jeff? I've got to do it for Jeff. Jeff was never enlightened. I need to be enlightened for Jeff. Have you got another ounce?
Of what? Just anything. I need to get my enlightened levels up.
Just even if you've got like some dice from a casino, just fucking crush them up and I'll have them. I'll fucking have them. I don't care. It's for Jeff.
Snort them from my eyeball, baby.
He rips off his shirt.
Big tattoo of just Jeff on his chest, just like for Jeff, baby. Okay.
He's like, but Ray, can I have those pictures? Because I really want to jack off.
I want to jack off, baby. I'm gonna be so enlightened. Anyway, so Ray's furious. The FBI is furious. Utah is like, listen, I know you guys are mad, but what have I told you? These criminals are not like any criminals. They're flawless. Real quickly, Carl, 25% of the criminals are dead from just jumping off a mountain, which isn't flawless. Very flawed.
25% of the criminals are dead from choosing the wrong line, apparently. So,
right, okay. There's also... Let me see if I can explain this. This is the 3rd task. They have to... No, sorry, the 4th task.
Yeah.
They are on a mountain chasing 2 trucks with money or things in it.
I genuinely thought they had coal.
I thought it was coal too.
Like,
it looked like wet coal, didn't it?
It looked like the next poor town they're going to flood with coal. And they're going to be like, aren't we heroes? And they're like, you've ruined our town. There's coal everywhere.
It's a great source of energy. Not very green, but it's very, very good. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know how this enlightens them. Essentially, Bodhi's like, listen, we've rigged a mountain with explosives. We're going to blow it up. It's the 4th omen, baby. They do it.
Yeah.
And then Utah's like, hey, I'm FBI. Drop your weapons. Mountain blows up. Utah goes over Bodhi. Bodhi's like, you won't shoot me. We're friends. And then Utah shoots the air like in the first film, I assume.
Yeah. So, you know how Hot Fuzz is obsessed with that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he should have shot him? Because I don't think he has any reason to not shoot him.
He's only known him 12 days. Yes. Yes, in a heartbeat.
Between the eyes, straight there.
Like,
That's only where he should have aimed.
I might be going out on a stretch here, but I feel like in the original movie, it's like weeks. Like,
gotcha.
Like there's a real camaraderie, and you see that. So
it feels earned. This feels insane. It feels like he let go of the criminal, and the criminal does more.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean to the actors. I actually quite like the guy that's playing Brody, and I think he's really good in a lot of other films. But the Australian guy that's Utah, I think when he has to shoot that gun in the air, I think that's weak. I thought that was a very weak Like, I
It's
just
got,
don't think he didn't pull
no,
that off. He did
he
not
doesn't.
pull that off.
It was just like, what's he got? Like emotion wise, he's just going through the motions. There's no, I don't know who that. I don't think they've really just shared like a scene where they just chat to each other. It's a very empty movie. Where like, I mean, all they've done is jump off mountains together and done drugs.
Yeah. They also try and play the thing that the original movie has, which is like, you're kind of not sure if they are the bank robbers or not.
Yeah.
And this one is like, it was you the entire time. And it's like, yeah, no shit, who else was it going to be?
Yeah.
Like,
I looked up the character's name on IMDb, and I looked through, like, there's 9 characters. I went, oh, so they're the criminals.
It's a
There's no way.
It's not a very populated film. There's like very few characters, and
so empty.
A lot of the spaces are just, there's no people.
Well, that's what my confusion was, because set-wise, I mean, the stunts are like extreme sports. Sure, they might cost, like, I don't know, a bit of money, but people are doing... I don't know where the money is in this film.
Yeah, neither.
Because
Like
there's not really any sets. Sure, there's like the cars action, but that's about it, really.
The avalanche does not look very good for $105 million. It looks very, like, just near finished CGI, when you can just be like, oh, it's almost there. Well, fast forward, so now that we know that they're robbing them and everything like that, they go to rob their next bank in like Paris or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the police have a very, very weak plan. Show up and shoot them. That's it.
Late as well.
That's it. They show the robbing's already happened. They're that late to it. It seems like this was their worst robbery yet, that they would have just been caught here had the 12 days previous not transpired. Because they just come out with proper machine guns. The French police would have caught them and killed them.
Oh,
100%.
100%.
There's no way they would have gotten out of this alive. It's their worst robbery yet.
Well, there's no extreme sports for this one. I think they have a motorbike.
No!
But I don't get how this would even... How does this connect to being enlightened? No way robbing a bank in any religion would give you enlightenment.
But they murder it. They're flat out murdering innocent people with machine guns now.
Oh, 100%. They don't aim for cops. They're just going for, like, civilians and children. Yeah. It's brutal.
It's really weird because really you would have saved some money doing this, but that avalanche scene should kind of just be this scene. Like, it's just one or the other. Like, all these characters should die in one of the other scenes. Like, it shouldn't be like... Yeah. Also, there's no wait when these characters die. I couldn't care less.
No,
he accidentally kills the girl.
Yeah, because she's wearing a helmet, and he was like, "Oh, I thought you wanted the boys. I guess I'm sad because we fucked, but I got in trouble for that, so I'm not that sad."
Shaking her and was like, "What are you doing here? Weekends are for the boys. This is the boys' club. No,
it's a Saturday robbery. Everyone knows every bank robbery happens on a Saturday."
So she's dead. And then they work out that after this, so all of his friends are dead.
Yeah.
So now Brody's gonna go climb a mountain.
Yep. With one other friend, because one other friend left.
Who's he? Who the fuck is this other friend? Has he been in the film at all?
That's really weird that you don't even know who Gromit is.
Go on. Enlighten me, if you will.
Gromit, which is his name, and I knew from the film and not looking up on IMDb, has a rich history and a great third-dimensional character. He is friends with Brody. So that's an arc.
He has the weirdest death in the movie. Like the one that you're like, it's supposed to carry the most amount of weight.
So lame. Also, it's one of the worst chases of the film. Because essentially, here's the setup. 2 guys are climbing a mountain. The other guy, very close to them, but it's very slow rock climbing. Gromit tries to get onto a rock. Brody's like, "Can you just get up?" He's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna die." Dies.
Oh, absolutely. It was Brody's just like, "You can probably get that other rock," and the guy's like, "I don't know. I'm gonna go the way of Jeff. Bye."
Even Utah from the bottom's like, "Dude, you can make that." He's like, "I'm out, guys. This is ridiculous.
Because here's the thing. At least there's probably a little bit of training these other guys have done.
Yeah.
But Utah's gonna fucking wing doing this. I
There's
don't
no
understand.
way. There's
Just
no way.
take a
There's no
helicopter
training.
and meet them at the top.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. I thought Utah was accidentally doing all of the 8 things. So then he would become enlightened. But he missed the first 2. So he's only done 5. So no skin in the game. Just you can use a helicopter. Use a gun. Shoot them while they're slowly climbing up a rock.
He should have just sniped them down.
Yeah.
Ray should have been down there and been like, you can climb, but I'm going to clip him from down here. Boom, 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 boom.
I like it, whiskey in hand. He's like, fuck, this is piss easy. What a piss easy job. They're slowly climbing up a rock. You'd think they'd bring a helicopter.
Because Utah's like, we've got to bring them in. And Ray's like, they murdered people. Why are we showing them any sort of kindness? They murdered people.
They've stolen about $2 billion, given it to just the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna kill them. With the FBI,
like, remember,
we can do whatever we want, baby.
He's like, remember when America bought all that coal from that poor country? And then they ruined the coal so America didn't pay? And they made that country even poorer by making that avalanche? Yeah! Why are we rewarding them?
There's no scenario where they're not bad.
Also, and again, I really wanted to see this guy splat, but they get to the top and then topple off anyway. But they don't die, but the other guy did die?
Which is also so bullshit, because it's then revealed that falling off the mountain that they've just climbed was the 7th big thing you need to do to get enlightened. And this happens. So they fall off. Yeah. Utah comes out. Ray's like, he's probably dead. And Utah's like, maybe.
Utah is barely hurt. Barely hurt. He's taken the biggest fall of anybody's life ever, and he's like, oh god, I'd climb it again if I had to.
But that's the thing. Utah's like, well, I survived, but he's probably dead. If you've survived, he survived.
Yeah. The fucking Gromit should be alive. I'm surprised Gromit wasn't walking around in the background being like,
it's Gromit's time to shine. Let's finish up this arc. Okay, I looked up on Wikipedia because I was very confused. So, in the film, they're on the shore, and then it cuts to them on a helicopter chasing Brody on a wave.
Yeah, 17 months later.
Fuck off. What happened?
So they actually pay off this really, this is actually some really good screenwriting they pay off. At the beginning of the film, when they're on that big boat, Utah goes, is this your boat? And Brody goes, no, you can't even piss in a toilet on my boat. And then this is that boat. There's no toilet. So they pay off Chekhov's boat. So that's a big win.
Oh fuck.
Now to be fair, like this same sort of ending is pulled in
the first Point Break.
In the first one, because they foil Patrick Swayze's plan, he sort of goes incognito, and they know that they have to wait for the next swell.
Yeah.
If they want to try and catch him again. But Patrick Swayze's like, well, I mean, there's no point in catching me because I'm probably gonna die out there, and he's like, yeah, I respect that, and I think they kind of try to do it here, but like, I think, again from memory, Keanu Reeves' character is like enlightened and stops being a cop at the end of his one.
Yeah,
but at the end of this, I don't know what it, but they chopper and rappel down a rope onto the boat in what looks like the biggest storm I've ever seen. Everybody's life is in danger. A wave could take out their helicopter if need be.
Seconds has been gone. Anyway, yeah, Utah goes down to Brody's like, hey, you're under arrest. And Brody's like, no, I'm not. Utah's like, well, off I rappel.
Stupid. It's like, you've come all this way. Kill him. Just kill him.
Yeah,
kill him yourself.
There's one witness. It's fine. Anyway, Brody definitely dies. Utah flies away with the helicopter. And
I can only assume it cuts to an additional 17 months later, and he's just snowboarding.
Yeah, he just snowboards. He's kind of given up the FBI life. He was like, that was really boring. And Ray was a bit of a fucking drag. I'm going to snowboard. I can only assume he was doing the Big 8? Or was he just vibing?
Well, he's already done the snowboarding, so it makes
Yeah.
no sense he would do that again. I thought it would have made more sense if he went back and did one of the original
Robbed a bank.
ones.
Robbed a bank or something.
Yeah. I would have loved the reveal if it was Ray Winstone snowboarding at the end. Just takes it off and he's started doing the 8. At the end of the day, there's only one question you can ask, Oscar. Who would watch this?
Wow. This film is so empty. So empty. And I don't know what you would get out of this film that you can't get out of just watching skydiving. Just go on the Red Bull YouTube channel. Look up the top most popular videos. All those will be much more interesting. Because I don't think the extreme sports are that interesting in this film. I don't think they're shot in any way interesting. I don't think the editing's very interesting.
No.
Like, I'm not engaged. And then the plot is piss weak. It's an empty film. And I guess a sequel. A remake, sorry. I have not seen the first one. I'm keen to see the first one, because it seems like it's the worst part of this film is not in the first one. So, who would watch this? I guess it is just for people to download so they can play it at a skate shop or a surf shop and not have to pay the extremely expensive stock footage of people surfing. It's a very expensive market, you would not believe. Carl, who would watch this?
Like, I mean, isn't that the thing where it's like, if you're going to watch extreme sports, at least if you watch it, you know that guy you're watching is the one doing it. But in a movie scenario, it's like actual extreme sports people are doing everything else, and then like an actor is like, oh, I just did that. Yeah. So there's no real joy to actually following an extreme sports person doing that in a film, because there's no connection whatsoever. It comes across even more hollow. I don't know why, even if you do like extreme sports, you'd be able to find any joy in this film either. You'd probably just be like, I'd rather watch them.
Which is weird. You'd think that would be the same for action, but I think because action you get to have intercut with like the reaction of the person, whereas the extreme sport, you start off in a little mountain, they put the helmet on, you get 8 minutes of just aerial shots, and then right at the end they take off the helmet. They go, "Wow, that was pretty cool, huh?" Yeah. It's very lame. And
like it's knowing in extreme sports that those people are actually in danger, and it's like, this is a movie, so you know nobody's in danger.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even though they did the extreme sports, they definitely jumped off that cliff and did the skydiving thing. That's impressive. Because it's in a movie, I assume digital effects are involved. Whereas extreme sports on YouTube and like in real life, you're like, wow, that was fucked up, but good for you, huh? Good for you.
It's wild too, because I think it's what like that difference is between a good director, because I remember thinking it was really a fun sequence when Tom Cruise and everything jump out of that plane in the beginning of one of the Mission Impossibles, and they go down into Paris, like during a storm. And it's like, cool. So maybe it is just like the directing. I don't know. Or like the fact that there's just a lack of investment in this film overall. As for who it's for, this movie clocks in at 1 hour and 39 minutes. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's shorter than the original movie. Thus, it's for people that want to watch a shorter version of the original movie.
How crazy was that? The credits are like 20 minutes. I mean, constantly...
They're like 15 minutes and 40 seconds long.
Yeah. Constantly while watching these films, I'm like, oh, I hope the credits are really long. And they never are. This was the first one, I'm like, that's over? Holy shit, that was piss easy.
All right, Oscar, what are we reviewing next week?
Next week, we are jumping on to a classic bad movie. Such a classic one. We're watching Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage.
Everybody's favorite bad movie. Nicolas Cage, I hope, is up for an Oscar this year, so let's remind people of what he can do.
He's got range. You cannot say that about
being Wicker Man.
Yeah, he's got range.
He's got range. Alrighty. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.